Good morning. Welcome to the WEX Wakeup for Monday, October 30th. I'm Christy Matino. We start with some big news from this past weekend. Former Vice President Mike Pence has dropped out of the 2024 election.
I have decided to suspend my campaign for president effective today.
He's one of the first major candidates to drop out of the race, and members from across the aisle are now reacting to the news. Former Democratic National Committee Chair Donna Brazile said the Republican Party is becoming Donald Trump's MAGA party.
Mike Pence tried to change the dynamics of the Republican Party. It's not changing. It is now behind Donald Trump come trial or tribulations.
Brazile also said she believes his unpopularity was due to his attempt to distinguish himself from the craziness of the MAGA movement.
The fact that you have a former sitting vice president who's unable to get traction, unable to raise the money, unable to part the waters, so to speak, to distinguish himself from the craziness of the MAGA moment, it wasn't his time.
And President Joe Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, reiterated Israel's right to self-defense on Sunday, but he's saying the country has to do everything it can to separate civilians from Hamas terrorists.
Israel has a right, indeed a duty, to defend itself against terrorists. Israel also has a responsibility to distinguish between terrorists and ordinary civilians.
He also says the United States has a responsibility to do everything it can to make sure life-saving humanitarian assistance can get to those people who have been affected by the war. He was asked if Israel Defense Forces were going about the conflict the right way, to which Sullivan didn't give a direct answer, instead reiterating U.S. support for the country. And Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin has called for increased border security along the United States southern border, saying illegal immigration has caused a crisis across the nation and even in his own state. Illegal immigration and border security have been the major talking points for Republicans, with Youngkin mentioning the issue ahead of Virginia's 2023 state elections next month. The governor said the state of Virginia has a population of 8.7 million people, and that's almost the same amount of illegal immigrants who have made their way into the U.S.
We've nearly seen the entire state of Virginia come across the border. It's unbelievable. And this chaos that has not only created a humanitarian crisis is creating a national security crisis and a drug crisis.
The governor also noted the drug crisis facing the nation has impacted his state, saying that 5 Virginia residents on average die from fentanyl overdoses daily. He said securing the border would stop the flow of illegal drugs.
We see it every day in the Commonwealth. Our law enforcement agencies are working hard in order to combat this.
Thanks for joining us this morning on the WEX Wake Up. Be sure to give us a follow on social media so you stay in the know of all those headlines trending in politics.